Hi guys, let's discuss current affairs. In today's session, we have our usual set of questions, and we begin with a question on Formula One races. The winner of the 2021 Formula One Spanish Grand Prix, it's pronounced Grand, it's French actually. Grand, okay, and Prix, the X is silent, Prix is prize, Grand Prize. The winner of the 2021 Formula One Spanish Grand Prix is Lewis Hamilton, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is Lewis Hamilton. Okay, before we look at him, is all the stuff on his jacket. Let's look at these guys. All the guys. Lewis Hamilton. So we'll look at the country and the team they belong to in Formula One. Okay, so Lewis Hamilton is a Brit. I'll write here British citizen. So you could write Britain. You can write, instead of British, you can write Britain, and you could write what he works. He drives a Mercedes car. How do you pronounce it? Okay, so you could write Britain. I usually write like this: colon and one character space followed by the team he belongs to. Mercedes. What is it? Mercedes. Mercedes. That's how you say it, Mercedes. Now, this is a six-time world champion, and that's tied. He is tied for with the number of world championships along, with the Michael Schumacher of Germany. Schumacher, as you know, is he met with an accident while skiing, and ever since he has not been seen in public. It seems that he is in a medically induced coma. Okay, that's Lewis Hamilton. Let's look at the choices. Verstappen. Verstappen is from Netherlands. He is from Netherlands. I'm greatly interested in Formula One. So here, this time around, this is happening all without spectators, as is the case with most sports. So Netherlands, and he drives. His team is Red Bull Racing dash Honda. Honda supplies the technical know-how, including the engine. Red Bull is an energy drink that comes from Thailand. That's a major sponsor, owner of the team. So you have Max Verstappen from Netherlands racing around in a Red Bull Racing Honda car. Okay, let me clear this. It becomes that much easier for us with lack of clutter. Bottas, my friends, is again, he is from Finland. He's from Finland, and he is a teammate of Hamilton. So Mercedes, Merc is Mercedes. Okay. Now, in the Formula One championship, in the Spanish Grand Prix. This was, let me tell you something now. This was held in a place called Montmelo. It's Montmelo in Spain. So the 2021. Usually it's held in Montmelo, Spain. Okay. One placeholders. 2, 3. These are the top 3 guys. Podium finish. It's called. Top 1, 2, 3. These are the guys. The other two, Ricciardo and Raikkonen. Ricciardo is doing quite well these days, but he would have pushed himself very hard to go up the points ladder. Ricciardo is from Australia, and he drives around in the McLaren Mercedes. McLaren Mercedes. Raikkonen is compatriot of Bottas. Compatriot means belonging to the same country. So you and I are compatriots. Okay. So Raikkonen, you could say Finland, and he drives around in a Italian company. Alfa Romeo Ferrari. Alfa Romeo is one luxury sports goods company, and sports cars company, and Ferrari is another company. But Alfa Romeo is more of a luxury brand. If you look at both the brands, Alfa Romeo and Ferrari, they are owned by Fiat. You must have heard of Fiat. Yeah, Fiat owns Ferrari, it owns Alfa Romeo, it owns it also owns this brand called Chrysler. You must be familiar with Chrysler. Have you heard of Chrysler? It's now called Fiat Chrysler. The intercompany's name is FCA, Fiat Chrysler Automobile. So Fiat Chrysler owns Jeep, Jeep, Ferrari, Alfa Romeo. These are all brands by this company. Okay. In fact, Chrysler owned Jeep. Chrysler was this American. Let me make it easy. Chrysler was an American company. It went bankrupt. Last time it went bankrupt was in the later years of the first decade of this century. It went bankrupt. Then Fiat jumped in, and Fiat is an Italian company. It said, "Look, we would like to buy Chrysler." So, Fiat bought Chrysler, and today Fiat owns Jeep also. So we in India on our roads we see Jeep. So remember, it's a Fiat product. Okay. So I didn't want to tell you all this, but I'm greatly interested in automobiles. Just for information, for fun, I'm telling you this extra fact. Fabbrica Italiano Automobili Torino. That is Fiat. Okay, you see this first part, Fabbrica Italiano Automobili Torino. That's how the name comes. Torino is a place in Italy. It's actually called Turin. Now we call it Turin, but earlier called Torino. So it's in North Italy. Okay. So Italian auto factory Torino. That's the name, but we write it as Fabbrica Italiano Automobili Torino. Okay. Now, before we go, further, let me tell you a little about this. This is Lewis Hamilton, a Brit guy. He has often talked of how he has been a victim of racism, because he's black. People are dumb. People go by skin color, and we now know that all this. In fact, it's always been known that these things hardly matter. Hard work matters. Learning matters. Skill matters. So Lewis Hamilton, just look at this. This is Mercedes symbol. Okay, this is also called TriStar. Mercedes. This is a Mercedes logo. This Mercedes logo is called TriStar or three-pointed star. You see there are 3 points here. It's also called three-pointed star. Okay. So you know one more. There is one more here. UBS is Union Bank of Switzerland. This is a very large private sector bank in Switzerland. Huge bank. One of the top 10 in the world. You see this Petronas. Petronas is a Malaysian company, National Petroleum Corporation of Malaysia. National Petroleum Corporation of Malaysia, but written as Petronas. And you know what? Whenever you talk of Kuala Lumpur, there are these twin towers which have a bridge, connecting them. These Petronas towers, they are called Petronas towers, and they are named after the National Petroleum Corporation of Malaysia. Okay. It's one of the sponsors, and you see this here and this one here. Here also it's clear. This is the jumping cat logo. Jumping cat logo of which company? You are right, Puma. Puma owns this brand. Okay. Puma owns this luxury goods company. Puma is a kind of mountain cat. It looks like a cheetah kind of thing. It's not very powerful. So this mountain cat, is depicted here as this jumping. That's why it's called jumping cat. That's simple. Okay. Some other time I'll tell you more. Okay. Let's go further. As part of the 2018 peace accord, South Sudan's president recently dissolved the parliament, thereby opening the way for the appointment of lawmakers in the government from opposing sides in the country's civil war. Simply put, a coalition government. Okay. The president of South Sudan is Salva Kiir Mayardit. I have been, I always been greatly interested in African politics. They make for a lot of interesting and sometimes difficult reading. Difficult because of the violence, the degree of extraordinary violence. So before I take you to South Sudan, I would like you to write about these countries here. Not Mayardit, others. Jevde is the president of Ethiopia. President of Ethiopia. Abdullahi Muhammad is acting president of Somalia, one of the world's most violent countries, Somalia. Riek Machar is the first vice president of South Sudan. First vice president of South Sudan. Muhammadu Buhari, president of Nigeria, Badmash fellow. He ran, today he is democratically elected, but way back in the 1980s, mid 80s, I think 83 to 85, he ruled the country as a dictator. He captured power, usurped coup, it's called COUP, violent change in government or sudden change in government. So this military chap, Muhammadu Buhari, took over the country in 83. For two and a half years, he ran the country with an iron fist. He destroyed his enemies, and he destroyed the political parties, many political parties, crushed all opposition, and such was the violence in under Buhari's rule that a new term was coined. It's called Buharism. I mean, it reflects extraordinary use of extraordinary violence. To perpetuate one's own rule, to continue with one's own rule, to ensure that one's own rule lasts. Extraordinarily violent man. But now he's seen as someone who's fighting corruption, but not really actually. So I'll take you to South Sudan. Ladies and gentlemen, South Sudan for you. You can see here South Sudan. This is South Sudan. Okay. See, till July 2000. Till July 2011. Okay, let me put it. In July 2011, South Sudan was formed as a separate country. Prior to that is, this was 11th July 2011, if I'm not wrong. But let's make it June 2011. Till then, there was one country called Sudan. This was Africa's largest country in those days. Okay, it's a pretty large country. But historically, the south has been Christian and more tribal than the north, whereas the north has been more Arab Muslim, than more of Arab, more of Muslim. This is something, and the south is generally Christian, and that's why they never got along well and they fought. South Sudan said, we have a lot of oil wells, we have a lot of oil reserves. ONGC Videsh has invested here. So we have a lot of oil wealth and everything, but this is not being spent on us, on our welfare, on our development. Sudan, the government in Khartoum, the capital of Sudan, is taking away every part of our wealth, every inch, every paisa of our wealth to perpetuate their rule, to spend on the development of their provinces. They are not doing anything for us. So the people of South Sudan rebelled, and for a long time the rebellion was there. All they wanted was a separate country, and in July 2011, a separate country called South Sudan was created. Okay, now ladies and gentlemen, South Sudan for you there. So today, what is this about? But before that, a little about South Sudan. You could write South Sudan, capital Juba, Salva Kiir, both are eyes, Mayardit. Salva Kiir, Mayardit. Okay guys, that's a president's name. The currency is South Sudanese pound. South Sudanese pound. Okay. Now let me tell you this story. So this chap here, look at choice 3, Machar, and choice 4, Mayardit. They had formed government in 2011. In 2013, Machar and Mayardit fell out. They had this massive ego issue, and Mayardit accused Riek Machar of, trying to throw him out of power and grab the presidency. Machar said, no, this I don't have any such issue. I don't want your presidency. But Mayardit launched legal proceedings, and before Machar could be captured and jailed, Machar had escaped. So Mayardit fought for separation. He fought for a separate country using a people's movement, South Sudan. It's called South or Sudanese. So you can write basically why South Sudan. Now it's simply called Sudan. Sudan People's Liberation Movement. See this, okay? What is this? SPLM. Sudan People's Liberation Movement. So Mayardit was the leader of this organization. He wanted to escape. He wanted to capture, arrest Machar and put him in jail. But Machar escaped. As Machar escaped, this was December 2013. Just 2.5 years after the country became a reality, that is a new country. So 2.5 years after the country was formed, Machar escaped, and he started his own organization called SPLM IO. What is IO? In opposition. Sudan People's Liberation Movement in opposition. That's the meaning of IO. They fought massive war. Such was the war that between December 2013 and till the end of 2018, it is believed, a local conservative estimate is that about 4 lakh people have been killed in this civil war. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, South Sudan is one of the poorest countries in the world. It's an extremely poor country. It comes in the bottom 3 of almost all parameters. You take peace, you take happiness, you take human development. It's almost at the bottom. But people are fighting for power. So that's how the status is today. They've been fighting for long. They had been fighting. In February this year, they said, let's stop fighting. Let's stop fighting and start come together, build a coalition government and run the country. As of now, that's a plan. Things are falling in place for now, but you never know how things may go bad. It's pretty bad out there. There is a war happening in Ethiopia, civil war in North Ethiopia. Somalia is one of the world's most dangerous countries. There's always violence here, everyday violence. Al-Shabaab, the main terrorist group, has pledged its allegiance to, had already pledged its allegiance to Al-Qaeda. Buhari is home. He's the president of Nigeria. Nigeria is, seeing a great deal of violence perpetrated by Islamist terrorists in the north of the country. Yeah, everywhere there is violence, my friends. There is violence. So that's a little about South Sudan. I just want to tell you a few things here. So, see, this is, okay, let me tell you something. This is Somalia, okay? Somalia, this is Mogadishu, and we mentioned Ethiopia. This is Ethiopia, one of the oldest countries in the world, and it is believed that the first humans were born in Ethiopia. They were there in Ethiopia, and from there they moved to different parts of the world. So between Asia and Africa, there is only one land bridge. But in Europe and Africa, there is no land bridge. So technically speaking, but for a small stretch of land, Africa is an island. Africa is an island. But as of today, there is only one island continent, Australia. We will not look at Antarctica as a continent for now. Okay. See, with the small stretch of land I'm talking about is this stretch here, this stretch. So this is Nigeria. Okay, I mean, things are pretty bad, my friends. Which foreign government has partnered with the United Nations Development Program to develop and install oxygen generation plants in the northeastern states of our country? Well, Japan's done this. Japan's, putting in a lot of money. It's look at this, all either a grant or a loan. Typically, it's a loan. Okay, but in this case it's a grant, which foreign government has partnered with the UN. It's not partnered with India. The UN development program is running a program in India, which is being funded by, let's say, by Japan to supply oxygen, to oxygen generation plants. United Nations development programs was started in 1965. Yeah, 1965. It's headquartered in New York City, 1965, New York City. And then I would like to tell you that its administrator, they don't have a, they don't have a president, they don't have an executive director, they don't have a director general, they don't have a XYZ. They have one simple position called administrator, and for now the administrator is Achim Steiner. Achim Steiner, he is, he has dual citizenship of both Brazil and Germany. Okay, that's about it. There's hardly anything to discuss here. So Seoul, Moon Jae-in, the currency is won. One thing I would like to tell you, you could write South Korea. South Korea's one more thing is that separated from North Korea through the demilitarized zone, 38th parallel. 38th parallel. 38th parallel. Next. Sadiq Khan was released recently, has been re-elected as the mayor of London. This is a British Pakistani, and he was born in Britain, and you know what, he's just been re-elected as the mayor of London, and he belongs to the Labour Party. The main parties in Britain are Conservative Party. It's not that there are only two parties, there are more, but two are very important: Conservative Party and Labour Party. So Conservative basically are like the BJP in India, like the Republican Party in America. Republican Party. Okay, conservatives, religion-wise conservatives, they are typically pro-business, and generally lower taxes. When it comes to labor, they are typically like the labor, Democratic Party in America. And India, there are plenty of them. You could say Communist Party, CPI. Except for Kerala, they have almost no presence anywhere. CPI or CPM. So these are the leftists. These are the main ones. And Labour in the recent elections, Labour lost everywhere except in London. Okay. So should we be learning about any of these things here? Not really. Whom the following persons recently took oath as the 15th Chief Minister of Assam? Himanta Biswa Sharma, Mr. Sharma was earlier a Congress guy, and later he joined the BJP. And of course, the BJP is rewarded him handsomely for his win. And you know what? Before him, the chief minister of Assam was, look at choice number 3, Sarbanand Sonowal. He was the chief minister. Now the BJP says that Hemanta Biswas will be the CM, and Sonowal is being called to Delhi. I think to a large extent he will be given a central ministership. Jagdish Mukhi is the governor of Assam. Governor of Assam. Pramod Sawant, chief minister of Goa. Ex-CM Assam. Manohar Lal Khattar, chief minister Haryana. Manohar Lal Khattar, Assam. So we'll do one thing here. Now that we're in Assam, we'll take the names of the chief ministers of some of the states in the east, okay, east part of the country. So we'll start with Arunachal Pradesh. Arunachal Pradesh, Pema Khandu. Then Nagaland. Nufio Rio. Next, Manipur, Biren Singh. Then Mizoram, Poo. Okay, I'll write it here. Poo Laltan Hawla. Laltan Hawla. Okay. So Laltan Hawla. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 have come. 5th is Assam, as you know. Then Tripura. Biplab Kumar Dev. Biplab Kumar Dev. Then Meghalaya. Conrad Sangma. So all chief ministers have come here. Go on to Sikkim. Prem Singh Tamang. Prem Singh Tamang. Yes. All done. Northeast India. See, this is Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram. The capital is not mentioned. This is Aizawl here. Okay. This is Agartala. The spelling is wrong. It should be Agartala. Agar. And Shillong is spelled again misspelled double O. And the best part, you see, there is this, except for, you see here, maybe Tuan Singh is mentioned, but you see this Matabari here. Matabari is a Shaktipeeth. It's a small temple in the east, is in the south of Tripura. This is dedicated to Sri 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 Tripura Sundari Matam. Sri 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 Tripura Sundari. And Tripura Sundari has given her name to Tripura. Tripuri is also the language there, people also there, okay. But this is a very small temple town, and this is built in the eastern style, with elevated surface, okay, on which there is this, Garbhagriha. In fact, there is nothing except for this. There are there is this rooms, 4 walls, let's say, equal. It's a square, okay, and it's like eastern pagoda kind of thing at the top, and at the, there are 4, there are 2 entries, one from the north, from the main way the idol is, and the other is on from the western, west actually. Now, I go to this temple every year. every single year. Though I'm in Hyderabad, I go to this place every year. So last year I was there in December, last week in July, in December last week 2020, that is. So this is a Shakti Pit. I'm not a Hindu, but it's fun to go see blessings everywhere. And Shakti Pit, there are plenty of Shakti Pits, 51 Shakti Pits, and some say there are 108. How many and all that, not for us to discuss now, but that's how it is. Okay, now if you would look at one map here, one part of the map, you can see this Bangladesh here. Okay, this is Brahmaputra, isn't it? This is Brahmaputra. In Brahmaputra, this river is called Jamuna. Brahmaputra becomes Jamuna. Let me clear this. I have written Agartala there. Okay. This is. I don't know why is this. Not laser pointer. Jamuna. This is Jamuna. So, and this is Ganga. Ganga, when it enters Bangladesh, it's called Padma. It's called, so Ganga is Padma. Okay, so this Padma is this. Where? This is Brahmaputra. Brahmaputra. I'm writing in cursive. This is Jamuna. So when Jamuna and Padma meet, they meet here, and this is called Meghna. This is called Meghna. That's why they say Ganga Jamuna ki tehzeeb. It's not Ganga Yamuna, it's Ganga Jamuna. This is it. And before independence, this was a part of India. Bangladesh was a part of India. Got it? Lot to learn, guys. Lot to learn. So to repeat, Brahmaputra becomes Jamuna in Bangladesh. Ganga becomes Padma. Jamuna and Padma merge to form Meghna. And this is here in the upper reaches. It's also called Lohit. In Assam, it's also called Lohit. Here it's called Dihang. It's called Dihang. And in Brahmaputra, in what is this place? China, or Sangpo. It's also called Sangpo. You can put a hyphen also. Sangpo. So Sangpo is a name of the river in Tibet. Brahmaputra's name in Tibet is Sangpo. In Assam, it's called Dihang. In Arunachal Pradesh, it's called Dihang. In Assam, it's called Lohit. Then, from the upper reaches of Lohit down to the plains of Assam, it becomes Brahmaputra. Brahmaputra becomes Jamuna in Bangladesh. Plenty. Crazy stuff. In association with which pharma company has the Indian Defence and Research and Development Organization lab in mass developed a COVID drug named 2-DG. That is 2-DG means 2-deoxy-D-glucose. Okay. So deoxy and glucose. So what are we? Why don't we? This is basically Dr. Reddy is going to manufacture and distribute this. From most likely they already started distributing this to health workers and all. But as of today, the manufacturing in large quantities will be done by Dr. Reddy's Labs, which is a Hyderabad-based company. Okay, one of India's largest pharma companies. So I would want you to write the full form of INMAS. Right, Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences. Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences in Mass. This is in Delhi. It's a part of DRDO. It's in Delhi. And those of you who don't know much about DRDO, this is Defense Research and Development Organization. It was started in 1958. Currently, the chairman is Dr. Satish Reddy. Dr. Satish Reddy. And then it has a motto. Strength lies in, you can write this, strength Strength's origin, not strength. Strength's origin is in knowledge. Is in knowledge. I am writing in short. You can write this. Strength's origin is in knowledge. So you are strong, mentally strong. When you have knowledge. That's the idea. So what are the COVID vaccines? There are plenty of COVID vaccines. Maybe we could bring this in later. But if you want to look at the names of, just a second. Biocon's CEO is Kiran Majumdar Shah. Kiran Majumdar Shah. So, when we say Kiran Majumdar Shah, she's considered India's, at one point, the only woman brewmaster in India. Lupin, Vinita Gupta. Sun Pharma, Dilip Shangvi. Dr. Reddy's, Ares Israeli. Bharat Biotech. Krishna Ella. Krishna Ella. That's it, guys. One of the following sports persons has been honored with the 2021 Laureus Sportsman and Sportswoman of the Year award. Now, Laureus awards have come to be considered the best, among the best awards in the world of sports. And Rafael Nadal and Naomi Osaka, Nadal of Spain and the tennis superstar from Spain, and Osaka, the women's tennis superstar from Japan, have won this. I mean, they've been declared the best sports persons of 2021. I want you to write a bit here the other awards that are given by this. So you could write 2021 Laureus Sports Awards. 2021 Laureus Sports Awards. Okay, underline that. First one, Sportsman of the Year. So everything is of the year. You simply write Sportsman, best sportsman, otherwise Sportsman of the Year or best sportsman dash Rafael Nadal. Look at choice 2, first part of the name, first of the two names. Rafael Nadal, in brackets, tennis, Spain. Tennis, Spain. Next, best sportswoman. Best sportswoman. Best sportswoman. Best sportswoman. Naomi Osaka. Naomi Osaka. Japan tennis. Japan tennis. Okay. Next, World Team of the Year. World Team. I'm going to give the name. I'll write the categories here. Okay. Winners is German football club called Bayern Munich. Germany football. World Team. Best Team of the Year. Next. Okay, before I go, then you write best breakthrough. Dash So for want of space, I'll write here. Okay, Patrick Mehonas. US American football. You must have heard. You must have seen this game. I mean, they bulk up their body with all kinds of protection gear, and then they play the football. It's called American football, played both with hands and legs. Okay, Patrick Mehonas. So we got four categories: best sports person, best sportsman, sportswoman, world team, breakthrough. There are two more categories if I'm not wrong. Then write best comeback. Best comeback. And when I read this on the website, I was the story of this person. I was completely inspired. I was deeply inspired by this person who Max Parrott. Okay, Canada. Snowboarding, sport of snowboarding. Now, why it's called the best comeback of the year? So, in 2019, he was diagnosed with the cancer of the white blood cells. It was a blood cancer. This is 2009, January 2019. January 2019, he was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a cancer of the white blood cells. Now, 6 months he struggled through chemotherapy and everything. Later that year, that is second part of the 2019 year, he participated in X Games and won the gold medal. Okay, and then again in 2020, the next year, that is last year 2020, he again won the gold in X Games. It takes extraordinary courage, my friends. It takes extraordinary courage. It takes extraordinary hard work. That zeal to do well, that pushes people to do, to this level basically. I can still say that I get goosebumps talking about such people who work extremely hard. Yeah, it's about never giving up, and it's very important to never give up. Best sport for good. Last award, sport for good. Best sport for good. Next, this is for football. Encourage. This is one word. Okay, kick for more. Kick for more. Yeah, you could write Germany. Football. So the academy, it's like an initiative taken to integrate refugees and not so well off people into to ensure that they don't go the wrong way. Sport can be great unifier, sport can be a great assimilator, my friends, and that's what precisely these guys have done. Okay, so we got all Nadal, best sportsman, woman, Osaka. We mentioned world team, Bayern Munich, German football team. It's a club football, of course, club football from Germany. Breakthrough. We mentioned what is his name, Patrick Mehonas. American football chap, and best comeback, Max Parrott, Canadian for snowboarding. Sport for good, football. Let's say initiative. From Germany. Padma Vibhushan Award. See, there are some questions, as you would know, I would not have much to talk about. This is one of them. Padma Vibhushan Award in Rajya Sabha Member of Parliament, Raghunath Mohapatra, passed away recently. He was a sculptor. Okay. I don't have much to discuss here, but when I say Padma Vibhushan, remember India's 4 highest civilian awards would be Bharat Ratna, Padma Vibhushan, Padma Bhushan, Padma Shri. These are the 4 highest awards mentioned in the order in which these are taken. Okay, but remember, none of this could be used as a title, not as a title, because under Article 18 of the Constitution of India, Article 18 of the Constitution of India, no title can be used to describe a person. Like we cannot say Sachin Tendulkar Bharat Ratna, or we can't say Bharat Ratna Sachin Tendulkar. We can say Sachin Tendulkar, recipient of Bharat Ratna, but before his name, Bharat Ratna cannot be used as a title. Okay, none of this can be used as a title. Which football club has won the 2021 English Premier League for the 3rd time in 4 seasons? Manchester City. You could write this 2021. In fact, you could write Premier League, English Premier League dash highest English football tournament, or highest English professional league for association football clubs. For association football clubs. Okay. Dash winner Manchester City, comma, runner up in 2nd place. Runner up Manchester United. So you see that choice 2 there. Winners choice 5, runner up choice 2. It's actually a league table. So I think City got about 90 points and United got about 86 points, something like that. They're all football clubs, yeah. Arsenal, Chelsea. Who has become the first Indian judge to be conferred with the Arline Pact Global Vision Award 2021? Justice Geeta Mittal. You could write a couple of lines about her. Justice Geeta Mittal. Underline her name. Write first point. First woman Chief Justice of Jammu and Kashmir High Court. Jammu and Kashmir High Court. Jammu and Kashmir High Court. Next, 2nd point. Current chairperson of broadcasting. Must have heard of this. Content Complaints Council. Broadcasting Content Complaints Council. You often see this running a streamer on the just your TV program. If you find something objectionable, you find something wrongly depicted, anything, you could lodge your complaint with BCCC. And this is broadcasting content. How do we say it? Content, not content. Content is satisfaction. Same word, different pronunciation, different meaning. So the meaning changes depending on the pronunciation. So what I'm delivering is content. Whether you're content with the content or not is up to you. You understand that? Got it? So content relates to satisfaction. Content relates to matter. This presentation has content. Am I content with the content? That's how you should ask. Okay? Yeah. Who of the following persons has been named the winner of the 15th Sheikh Zayed Book Award? This is UAE award. I think in the previous session we discussed this. UAE award named after their first president who ruled the country in 1971. Sheikh Zayed Al Nahyan, not required. Tahira Qutbuddin won the award, my friends. Okay, you could write this. Professor of Arabic Literature, Professor of Arabic. You could simply say Professor of Arabic Literature. Arabic Literature. Professor of Arabic Literature at University of Chicago. University of Chicago. You can say Chicago also, but it is Chicago. University of Chicago. Dash author of it's a long title. I just ask you to write what is that? Arabic Oration. Yes, Arabic Oration. That's the name of the book. Arabic Oration. It is the full name is Arabic Oration dash Art and Function. Just right. Arabic Oration. These people choices. Megha Majumdar. I've never heard of her, but before this class I prepared, and I always prepare. This is a book she has come out with. A Burning. This is her first novel. A Burning. Nayantara Sehgal, veteran writer. She was one of the three daughters of one of the three children of Vijay Lakshmi Pandit, if I'm not wrong, who's happened to be sister of Jawaharlal Nehru. So the niece of Jawaharlal Nehru, Nayantara Sehgal, and she's author of plenty of books. You could write Rich Like Us. Rich Like Us. Okay. Temsulo Ao, they are Indian writers. Laburnum, that's why I am not telling you. This is one book, Laburnum for My Head. Laburnum for My Head. Taslima Nasreen, well, pretty controversial person, and one book you could write, Shame. No, not Shame. Lajja. Shame is a novel written by Salman Rushdie. This is Lajja. Lajja also means shame actually. Lajja. Someday I'll tell her story to you. Which institution recently launched an Asia Pacific Tax Hub to enhance the international tax cooperation? Asian Development Bank. You could just write, Asian Development Bank. Full form Asian Development Bank. Manila, which is the capital of the Philippines. Next, Manila, the Philippines. The president is Masat Sugu Hayakawa, in brackets Japan. Masat Sugu Ayakawa. Okay. You would write this. Top 4 shareholders. Top 4 shareholders. Only in this case. Top 4 shareholders. Japan, US, China and India. Similar actually. China and India. So I think Japan holds about 15.7% of shares, and that is capital it has contributed. US is 15.6 something. So similar is more or less for China and India. Okay. This was established in 1966, but that is not important. Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. What is this? Head office is in Beijing, China. Beijing, China. Then its chairman is Jin Likan. Jin Likan, in brackets, China. Okay, next. New Development Bank. Choice 2. New Development Bank, also known as, remember, wherever you find AKA or in caps or small letters, AKA stands for also known as. BRICS Bank. Head office Shanghai, which as you know is in China. Its president is Marcos Troijo. Marcos Troijo. Marcos Troijo. He is from Brazil. Yeah, Brazil. Next. World Bank. World Bank Group. You please write World Bank Group, or World Bank is fine. Yeah, no problem. World Bank. Washington DC. Head office is in Washington DC, District of Columbia, America. Washington DC. David Malpass. US. So the president of the World Bank Group is David Malpass. Then IMF, International Monetary Fund. International Monetary Fund. International Monetary Fund. Head office, same place, Washington DC. Head office, Washington DC. Washington DC. Then its CEO or an MD is Kristalina Georgieva. Kristalina Georgieva. She is from Bulgaria. I'll write this in full. Bulgaria. Bulgaria. ठीक है. Which of the following COVID-19 virus strains has been classified as a variant of concern by the World Health Organization? All of them. Okay, now even Indian one has been classified as a B.1.1.17. I think that's the number of it. It's all, the one thing is vaccination is the key. Till you get vaccinated, please make sure you wear 2 masks when you go out, and not cloth mask or anything. Proper N95 or surgical mask. It's good to be safe, and it's the best thing you could do to yourself, your family, your friends is you get vaccinated. Okay, it's a very good thing to do that. And don't listen to all those conspiracy theories who would say that this is a man-made, there is no such virus and everything. 31 lakh people have died of this. It cannot be conspiracy. Hmm? Whether it's something that man created or it was something that that escaped from a lab or it was a conspiracy designed by China is not for you to discuss at the time of vaccination. Get vaccinated. You understand that? Very simple. So it's very important to get vaccinated, because when vaccination happens, the body develops immunity. When the body develops immunity, even see, it's not that COVID does not happen. Even in the case of this, see, someone who is vaccinated could get COVID. COVID and those infections are called in science they are called breakthrough infection. But the best part is when there is antibodies development in the body after having taken vaccination, the body's fighting capacity is that much higher, so the severity of the disease, the intensity of symptoms is not very high. And that is why a lot of important there is this recently one very famous doctor from in Bangalore. He said that he's one of the world's most famous doctors. He said that we haven't had a single ICU patient who has had two doses of the vaccine. So it reduces the intensity, and that is most important. That is most important. Otherwise, see, if someone would get COVID after any kind of variant, I mean, but after two doses, someone gets COVID, the symptoms are pretty minimal, and that is important. That is important, my friends. Okay, get vaccinated, guys. National Technology Day is celebrated on May 11th to highlight the achievements of engineers and scientists. The theme of the National Technology Day is Science and Technology for Sustainable Future. Yes. I want you to write about National Technology Day. You could write Indian Nuclear Program, just 2 lines about it, nothing more than that. Okay, Indian Nuclear Program. Right. First Indian nuclear test, first nuke test, because the title is Indian Nuclear Program. First test. I remember this distinctly because for years I have written or spoken about it. 18th May 1974, also called Operation Smiling Buddha. Operation Smiling Buddha. Some people call it Pokhran first, which is okay. Then, right, second set, which actually, but second test is fine. May 11th, 1998 dash Operation Shakti. Some people call it Operation Shakti. See, the names vary, okay, but these are the more accepted ones. Operation Shakti dash 98. Some people also call it Pokhran 2. That's it. Operation Shakti 98. Last one. Third test, May 13th, 1998. So together Operation Shakti. So the first nuclear test we have had was on the 18th of May 1974. And 24 years later, a week short of 24 years, we tested 3 nuclear devices, and another 2 on the day after, May 11th, 1998. So we have had 6 nuclear tests, overall 6 weapons, or simply say 3 times we have tested our nuclear weapons. And to showcase the great contribution of our engineers, everyone in the scientific community, Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee had designated May 11th, because he was the Prime Minister at that time, as National Technology Day. Okay. So Arun Kumar Singh has recently been appointed Chairman and Managing Director of BPCL, Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited. You know, this was a private sector company till 1976. And in 1976, this was nationalized and it became BPCL. Okay. Later it became BPCL. And Arun Kumar Singh is the CEO of the Chairman MD of BPCL, Oil and Natural Gas Corporation. Subhash Kumar, Oil and Natural Gas Corporation. Subhash Kumar. NTPC, Gurdeep Singh. We have, Gas Authority of India Limited, Manoj Jain. Coal India Limited, Pramod Agrawal, yes. Pramod Agrawal. Next. The WHO has approved Sinopharm's COVID-19 vaccine for emergency use, making it the first jab developed by a non-Western entity to gain this recommendation. Sinopharm is developed by, it's a Chinese company. So what we will do is we will take the names of some companies that have developed some vaccines, okay? Or simply put, basically the companies that have come up with, vaccines. Sometimes the vaccine name. You could write Moderna, Pfizer, what we can do is Moderna, Pfizer, J&J, Johnson & Johnson. So three American companies. Three American companies. So right, Indian. Covaxin by Bharat Biotech. JV with, joint venture with National Institute of Virology. And ICMR, which is the Indian Council of Medical Research. I repeat, Covaxin developed by Bharat Biotech in joint venture with the National Institute of Virology and the Indian Council of Medical Research. So why don't we take a couple of more vaccines? Let's take Chinese vaccines now. Okay, Chinese or China. You could say Sinopharm. 1, 2, CoronaVac. I think there is one more thing here. Convidicia. So these are three Chinese vaccines. Okay, you could say Europe or European. Sputnik, because Europe is seen as a part of Europe incorporates Russia. Sputnik, you could say Russia. And then what is that? AstraZeneca. And University of Oxford. In brackets, if you want to write Covishield. In India, it's called Covishield, not everywhere. Covishield. There are more, but I think this is enough here. There is Novomax also. We got a lot of them, yeah. In fact, the only vaccine I have missed out is Novomax, which is you put it out basically. All have come. See, when I say Pfizer, remember Pfizer. If you want to write, Pfizer has a joint venture, Pfizer and BioNTech. This is the full name of the company. Biopharmaceuticals New Technologies. That's the name of the company. Okay, what is this? According to the Global Powers of Retailing 2021 by Deloitte, which company is the world's biggest retailer? That's the title. Walmart. Walmart. I want you to write this. Just write Walmart. Then we'll write the top 5 if necessary. Walmart. World's biggest company. World's biggest company. World's biggest company. $559 billion sales. So last year its sales were $559 billion, and you know what, friends? $559 billion will be 20% more than. It will be about 20% of India's GDP. More than 20% of India's GDP. I am not kidding. So one company sales, and Walmart, what does it do? It's a super departmental store. It's a large supermarket chain store. So it's like your gully corner uncle shop basically. Who sells all kinds of stuff basically. That's it. But it's a much larger version of it. You can see this. Next, founded by and named after founded by and named after Sam Walton. See this, Walton. Wall, surname's first 3 letters. Mart is market. So that's how the name comes. Next, head office, Bentonville, Arkansas, US. Bentonville, Arkansas, US. Okay. Next, CEO. Doug Macmillan. Last point you could write, world's largest private sector employer. World's largest private sector employer. World's largest private sector employer. So you could write top 3. You could write top 3 in the list. Top 3 would be 1 Walmart. This is 1. 2 Amazon. This is the world's largest internet company. 2 Amazon. 3 Costco. All American companies. 4th is Schwarz, which is a German company, but not required enough here. Top 3, world's most powerful retail company is Walmart. 2nd is Amazon, and 3rd is Costco. Remember, this PLC stands for Public Limited Company. What is it? Public Limited Company. According to the Global Powers of Retailing 2021, repeat question but different stuff. Reliance Retail has been ranked to the dash. In fact, the 53rd company, the only Indian company to feature in this list is Reliance Industries, Reliance Retail. Okay, it's a huge company, my friends. Reliance Retail. Mukesh Ambani has invested more than 5 lakh crore rupees in this company. It's a huge company. Commercial paper can be issued for a maximum period of 365 days. You could write this. Just write commercial paper. Commercial paper. Underline that. Right. Unsecured money market instrument. Unsecured money market instrument. Simply put, it's a fixed deposit, a different kind. Unsecured money market instrument issued by or issued in the form of a promissory note. In the form of a promissory note. In the form of a promissory note. Promissory note is basically a hundi. Okay, it's a promise. It contains a promise that, look, I have borrowed from you, I'll repay it. I borrowed so and so amount from you on so and so date at the rate of so and so interest. Okay, at the interest rate, some interest, everything is mentioned. That I promise to pay you back within 3 months or something. So it's a promise. It contains a promise from me. So my signature, everything would be there. If I borrowed money from you, everything would be there. That's a promissory note. Hundi bolte isko. Okay. Similarly, this is also something like that. But the funny thing here is no security is put here. So when a company borrows money from people like us, it does not take any security. We give it money. It gives us a paper. Okay, it gives us a paper that, look, you have lent money to us, but no security is put. I mean, it's just the only security is the paper. That's about it. So it's called unsecured money market instrument. If the company goes down, our money is more or less lost. So it's a short way. It's a simple way of raising money for a company. The fastest way probably. So the minimum, you can say, maximum period is, second point, maximum period of maturity. Maximum period of maturity is 1 year. While minimum period is 7 days. Minimum period is 7 days. 7 days from date of issue. From date of issue. From date of issue. Okay. Find the incorrect match. UN, Washington DC, Washington, WTO, Geneva. This is right. This is right. This is right. Right. UN is not here. United Nations is in New York City. New York City. Because there is something called New York State. So this is it. I'll tell you about one organization. You could write this. OECD. Organization for Economic Cooperation. Economic Cooperation and Development. Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Dash. Okay, next point otherwise. Established 1961. Established 1961. Dash. Head office Paris. Head office Paris. Dash. Head office Paris. Dash. Who is this guy? Who's the chair? Yeah, Secretary General is Jose, pronounce H, Jose Angel Gurria, Mexico. That's it. Maybe in one of these classes I'll bring to you international bodies. Maybe, yeah, that's a discussion we could have. I still remember we need to have a discussion on what is that? banks, RBI. Okay, Reserve Bank of India. I remember that. I'll bring that. Panna Biosphere Reserve has, see, Biosphere. This SP is pronounced with an F. Remember this, okay? Sphere. Panna Biosphere Reserve has joined UNESCO's World Network of Biosphere Reserves. In which state is this reserve located? It's in Madhya Pradesh. It's in Madhya Pradesh. You could simply write 18 biosphere reserves in India. Biosphere reserves in India. Or if you want to write 18 biosphere reserves in India under UNESCO. Under UNESCO. Under UNESCO. Right. Each of this we can write one. Yeah. Tamil Nadu, Gulf of Mannar. Gulf of Mannar. Plenty of biodiversity here. Telangana. See, Telangana, there is nothing extraordinary in Telangana. From what I know, there is no biosphere reserve in Telangana. But if you want to write Himachal Pradesh, there is something called the cold desert. It's simply called cold desert. Odisha, Simlipal. Simlipal. Okay. Which is the oldest? You could also write the oldest biosphere reserve. Oldest biosphere reserve. Nilgiri. Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. Tamil Nadu. 1986. 1986. 1986. National Youth Day is celebrated on the birthday of Swami Vivekananda, 12th January. 12th January. Swamiji was born, you could write this, 12th January 1863. Okay, and he passed away on 4th July 1902. One last thing you could write about Swamiji was founded Ramakrishna Mission in 1897. Founded Ramakrishna Mission in 1897. Okay. Chalo. Anything else? Which country held the presidency of the G20 Central Bank Governors Meeting? Italy. Right? Italy. See, G is group of 20. G20 is group of 20 nations. So I'll just write the names here. Members 1, 2, United States. You could write this. 1, Canada. 2, United States. 3, Mexico. So 1, I repeat, 1, Canada. 2, United States. 3, Mexico. So 3 large countries in North America. 4, Brazil. 4, Brazil. 5, Argentina. Argentina, I'll spell it here. Argentina. Okay, we'll come to Africa. 6, South Africa. South Africa. South Africa. We'll go up to Europe. 7, European Union. Entire European Union. Entire European Union. 8, France. 8, France. 9, Italy. 10, Britain or UK. 10, UK or Britain. 11, Germany. So now you listen to this carefully. The European Union as a whole, as an entity, is a member of the G20. But there are some countries that are a part of the European Union, but by virtue of who they are, their economy size and everything, they don't qualify to be members of G20. So for them, it's G20 that represents, okay? But there are some countries like Italy, France, Germany, Britain. These four countries are, they are members of the European Union. Of course, Britain is not. But by virtue of being who they are, industrial superpowers, they are separate members of the G20 also. Okay. So we got how many? 11. You could write now 12 Turkey. 12 Turkey. Turkey. 13 Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia. 14 Russia. 14 Russia. 15 China. 16 India. 17 South Korea. 18 Japan. I did not budget for it, okay, it's still coming. Then 19 Indonesia. Yeah, we got 20, man. 20 Australia. 20 Australia. Nice, yeah. We got all. To repeat: 1 Canada, 2 US, 3 Mexico, 4 Brazil, 5 Argentina, 6 South Africa, 7 we mentioned European Union, entire thing. 8 France, 9 Italy, 10 UK, 11 we said Germany, 12 Turkey, 13 Saudi Arabia, 14 Russia, 15 China, 16 India, 17 South Korea, 18 Japan, 19 Indonesia, 20 Australia. So ladies and gentlemen, we got all of them. Cool, yeah. Who in the following is the author of Advantage India, the story of Indian tennis? Anindya Datta. I'm not going to discuss this, yeah. India has described Daesh as its priority number one partner in the defense sphere and reiterated means repeated. Reiterate the assurance of fullest cooperation in the field of defense and security. Let me read it again. India has described Daesh as its priority number one partner in the defense sphere and reiterated the assurance of fullest cooperation in the field of defense and security. That's Sri Lanka. See, in 2008, when the Sri Lankan government launched an all-out offensive, the final assault on the LTTE, we kind of went bad. Actually, we didn't take enough care. We didn't take enough care in giving Sri Lanka the weapons they needed to take on the LTTE. Maybe it has got to do with the vote bank in Tamil Nadu, because the DMK was a part of the UPI coalition in those days, and there was this issue concerning this. So finally now, when we lost a chance, Pakistan and China filled in that gap, and we saw that our enemies are making merry at our expense. So finally we said, no, this is not going to do, and we are now putting national interest ahead of local vote bank politics, which is important. Sri Lanka. So just Sri Lanka I'm going to discuss. Sri Lanka's capital, there are two. One is Colombo, as you would know, and the second is part of Colombo, but treated separately. Sri Jayawardene Pure Kotte, two separate words. Sri Jayawardene Pure is one word, Kotte is another. The president is sorry, I'm so sorry. Let me erase and let me then use pen. Let me erase the entire thing. What was I doing? The president is Gotabaya Rajapaksa. This is the president, and his brother is the prime minister. Brother is Mahinda Rajapaksa is the PM. This is the president. Sri Lankan rupee, of course. Sri Lankan rupee. That's about it, yeah. We've been discussing these countries quite often. Thank you for being here, guys. Hope to see you soon. Enjoy yourself and stay safe. Stay curious.